Hello, boys and girls. Today it is the beloved commas. Commas, commas, commas. What else can I say? I was helping my children this week with homework, much the same way your parents are helping you with homework, and one of them was doing some writing for one of their classes. They were kind of working on a book report, and I went in to help my child, and I'm not going to rat out which one it was. And man, she was missing a few commas, okay? So I don't want you guys to be like that. I want you guys to, and she's a good writer. I'm not making fun of her, but it's very easy to forget to put commas in and to know where they go. They're actually rather tricky, okay, sometimes to hear it. And the best thing, I'd say, the number one way to figure out where the commas go typically is if you read it out loud to yourself, okay? Not like this. In your head, not in your head, but out loud with your words. And you figure out, should I pause? Okay? Typically, when you read it out loud, you're going to pause where you should, and even though you don't have a comma, you'll read a sentence and you'll pause there, even though there's no comma written in what you're writing or typing, okay? And if you're pausing there, the chances of you needing a comma there are very high, okay? So we're going to see that as we go through. There's rules here, rules for when do you use commas, okay? And I'm going to show you those rules, okay? And so some of them I imagine you know and you use, and some of them are going to be maybe new, and some of them are going to be just a review and a refresher. But the reality is you're probably going to forget to put commas in when you write more often than you think you will until you get it down where it's just kind of like walking. You don't think about putting one foot in front of the other, but when you're learning to walk, you trip, you fall, okay, and you're unbalanced. Watching little babies learn to walk is pretty hilarious, okay? Yeah, they're still babies, okay? But this is the same thing with commas. Okay? You're going to trip and fall. You're going to figure out where do they go, okay? Kind of a tricky concept here, but let's look at these rules and then have this page in your orange folder. Don't throw it away, okay? Keep it so you can go back to this page to look at the rules to figure out where do commas go and how do I use them, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put it over there. Okay, so number one rule, they go in dates between the number of the day and the year. So we say June 15th, comma, 2004. So the comma goes right there, 2004. Okay, don't forget that comma. They go between a city and a state. Okay, so if you're writing Thomasville, North Carolina. So you go Thomasville, comma, North Carolina. We would write Anchorage, Anchorage, comma, Alaska. Okay? So they go between cities and states. Okay? If you're writing a letter, okay, and you're addressing the name on the front of the letter, okay, and you write the letter to Brad Mondale because you want to write me a letter, and then you put the address, you put 5601, okay, East. Okay, I'm rethinking this. This is goes on the World Wide Web for everybody. I'm not going to put my address out there, even though they could probably find it. Okay, and you give them an address, 7928 Deer Street. Okay. Okay. Then you put the city and the state. Okay. Then you put your city. Okay. Maybe it is. Now you could put Anchorage, comma, AK, that's what you do there, okay? And then your zip code, 99507 or something like that, okay? And so you're going to do it in the front of an envelope, you're going to do it inside of a sentence, and all that sort of stuff, okay? So between the city and the state, okay? I'm going to move it up here. This next one is one that gets overlooked and has a little bit of differences in how people were taught. Okay, so this might be a little different than maybe how your parents were taught, but this is how your teachers going forward are going to want you to put commas in. Okay, so it says in a series. A series means there's a list of things. Okay, 3 or more things listed together. Okay, so I went fishing. Okay, and what else could I do? I went fishing. I could go hiking, okay, and then I could go shooting, okay, or hunting. Okay, I go hunting, fishing, and hiking. Okay, I would say I went hunting, comma, fishing, comma, and hiking. Okay, so when there's three or more. But if I was just going to say two, I went hunting and fishing, no commas. Just I went hunting and fishing. Period. Okay, so here we go. The children ran, skipped, and walked on the playground. So is there three things? Ran, skipped, and what'd they do? Ran, skipped, walked. Okay, so ran, skipped, walk. Oh, this is kind of fun. I'm making finger puppets. Have you guys ever done this one? The dog's barking, woof, woof, woof. So when there's three or more, you need commas. Ran, skipped, walked. You need commas. Okay, so you need three. Children ran, skipped. Okay, so ran, comma, skipped, comma, and then that's it right there. Okay, there's some of your parents maybe learned that you just leave this one out. Ran, comma, skipped, and but you need to put it in there. Okay, you need that comma right before the and. Okay, when you're making that final list. Okay, number 4, in a compound sentence before joining words. What's a compound sentence? A compound sentence means let's take a compound word, doghouse. Okay, so compound. Okay, it means if it was a compound word, it'd be like doghouse. You have two separate words, one and one. Dog plus house, and they're both actual words, makes a compound word. Okay, so it's two. Okay, so compound kind of means two when we're thinking about in terms of English. When we had a compound predicate or a compound subject, it was two subjects. Okay, Mr. Mondale and Jenna went walking to the playground, or Jenna and Sydney went walking to the playground, or Mr. Mondale and Mrs. Mondale went on a date in their living room because they couldn't go to a restaurant. Okay, so that's two subjects. That's a compound subjects. Two predicates. Okay, it would be two things they did. Okay, Mr. Mondale ran and jumped. That's two. Ran and jumped. Okay, so that's compound. So compound sentence means two sentences combined into one. So two sentences combined into one. Okay, so I wanted to order dessert. So here's one sentence. I wanted to order dessert. Second sentence, I was full. I was too full. Okay? So those could be broken apart and be two separate sentences. Then, if you can have two separate sentences, then you need a comma and a joining word. So you put, comma, but I was too full. Okay? Now, when I was helping one of my kids earlier this week, this is how they were doing. I wanted to order dessert. They just did. I wanted to order dessert, but I was too full. They didn't have a comma there. I wanted to order dessert, but I was too full. So when you read it out loud to yourself, I wanted to order dessert, but I was too full. Do you need a comma there? I wanted to order dessert, but I was too full. You want to pause there. So if you'll pause, then you put the comma. Okay? And she was missing the commas in sentences like that. Okay? So wherever there's a pause there, in a compound sentence, if you can break it into two sentences, you got adjoining words, and that's when we learned about fanboys. Remember the joining words? Fanboys, we had fan boy, okay, which was for, and, nor, but, or, what was the Y? I'm blanking on the Y. Oh my goodness, fanboy, yet. Okay, so those are joining words that could be in places like that last one that we just did. Okay, in place of but, okay, we can say I wanted to order dessert and I was too full. We want to use but there because it's comparing. Or I was too full. For I was okay. So these are some common joining words. The fanboy. Okay. So that's a great way to remember some of those joining words. Okay. All right. And if you see those, you might need a comma by those. Okay. Here's the next one. In dialogue. Okay. Dialogue is when people are talking. Okay, we're dialoguing back and forth. Okay, I'm talking, and then you respond, and then I respond, and then you respond. And when you're reading in a book, anytime there's dialogue, it goes in quotation marks. When you're writing a story and you say, Johnny said, Mom, what's for dinner? So you put that in quotation mark. Okay, so right before, okay, the quotation of what they said in dialogue, you need a comma. Okay, so the telephone is ringing, comma, she announced. Okay, if you put it the other side, you could say she said, comma, the telephone is ringing, period, quotation marks. You can put it on the other side too, or you could say she announced, comma, the telephone is ringing. So you have to have commas there before it, and sometimes you can put it in reverse order, and you can say the telephone is ringing, she announced. Okay, remember, commas save lives. Okay, commas save lives. Remember when we had the fun bell ringer? Let's eat, Grandma. Let's eat, Grandma. Okay, saying let's eat, Grandma. Okay, we don't want to eat, Grandma. Okay, when we made that fun bell ringer, we tried to save lives by using commas. Okay, in a direct address. Okay, so this is like when you're going to address somebody, you're going to say Dad, Mom, hey, brother. Okay, so you say Dad, comma. Okay, may I go to the park? Okay, it's a direct request. So right after that person's name. Okay, and then here's another one. Okay, I wonder, Kyle. Okay, and here's, they have two commas here. I wonder, Kyle, if the game is going to be canceled. Okay, so whenever something is surrounded by commas, that means it can be taken out of the sentence and read without it, and it works. Okay, so if you surround it with commas, if you can take a word or a phrase out of the sentence, okay, then you should surround it by commas. I wonder if the game is going to be canceled. Can you read it like that? Absolutely. Okay. I wonder, Kyle, if the game is going to be canceled. Okay, so that can come out of the sentence, and the sentence will still flow and be smooth. So then you need to surround it by commas. Next one, we hope you have a wonderful birthday, Nancy. Okay, so that's in a direct request also. Okay, so you need a comma right before Nancy. Okay, and then this one says, after introductory words, and I'm going to add something to this, or phrases. Okay, such as yes, no, and well, or something like, in the morning, comma, I got up and ready for school. Okay, so yes, comma, I will go with you. Well, let me think about it. Okay, you wouldn't say, well, let me think about it. Well, let me think about it. You would pause. Well, let me think about it. Okay, so you want a comma. Yes, I will go with you. You would say, yes, I will go with you. Okay, so you want to, like that. Or it could be a longer introductory phrase also. Okay, and here that is. Okay, after a long introductory phrase or 5 or more words. Okay, in the early morning hours, the city seems to sleep. Okay, now if you read it without the comma, in the early morning hours, the city seems to sleep. In the early morning hours, the city seems to sleep. Just sounds better when you stop and put the comma there. In the early morning hours, the city seems to sleep. Okay? You could even get rid of hours. In the early morning, the city seems to sleep. Okay? So those are the rules for when to use commas. Okay, so let's look at this. Now is where we have to use that. Read it out loud to myself, see which way sounds better. Okay? So we've got, fill in the circles next to each sentence that is written correctly. It is right. So we have a comma. I'm just going to show you where we have the commas. We have a comma there, and we have a comma here. Okay? So which one of those is right? Before Bethany's surprise birthday party, we had a storm. Or before Bethany's surprise birthday party, we had a storm. Which one of those sounds better? I'm going to give you a second. You fill in the one you think it is. Hopefully you filled in the top one. Okay, that's a big circle to fill in. Okay, before Bethany's surprise birthday party, we had a storm. That sounds like it should be, that's the way it should be read. Okay, so that's where you're going to want to put the comma. If you pause here, it sounds silly. Before Bethany's surprise birthday party, we had a storm. That just sounds silly, doesn't sound right, doesn't flow. Okay. Number 2, okay, we've got commas here, here, and here. Okay, so that here, remember what I said, that's like we can take the word out. Okay, I think, Mom, that I would like vanilla ice cream. Or, I think, Mom, that I would like vanilla ice cream. Now, could you take Mom out? I think that I would like vanilla ice cream. Yes, you can. So this is the giveaway right there. Okay, you can take that out. So if you can take that word or that phrase out, then you surround it by commas. Okay. Now I'm gonna scroll up here. We got 3 through 7, and we have to add the commas. Okay, with the caret and the comma mark. The caret and the comma mark. Okay, so that looks like this. Okay, we put the comma in. Okay, wherever it's gonna go. Okay, so where did you leave your homework, Zachary? Where did you leave your homework, Zachary? Now you read that a few different ways to yourself, out loud. Okay, and I want you to put the comma in where you think it should be, and then I'm going to put the correct answer up here, and if you get it wrong, erase it and fix yours. So the comma is going to go right there, okay, in between homework and Zachary. So we put the caret right there, the point of the caret right in between those two. Where did you leave your homework, Zachary? That's where it should go. Number 4. Let's go to the park, said Travis. Okay, it's missing a comma somewhere there. Go back to your rules too if you need to. I'm just going to give you about a few seconds here to try to get that one. Fill it in, see what you get. And hopefully you remembered that, okay, it can come right, when there's dialogue, when there's the quotation marks, you need commas, okay? It's going to come right here, okay? So you need to put it in right there, okay? Now the thing is, if you just stick it wildly in there, okay, it actually has to come before the quotation marks, okay? So you got to put your point in there just super carefully that it's right before the quotation marks and there, not after the quotation marks. So it would really look like this: quotation mark, comma would be right there, okay? It would be park, okay, comma, quotation mark. Okay, that's how it would look. Now remember, we could take Travis said and move that to the front, and we could say Travis said, comma, let's go to the park. Okay, we could also put it that way. Okay, and that is then the period goes inside of the quotation marks, just so that you can see how that looks and the way that would be. Okay, that's really important to know that where the comma goes in either, because dialogue can be shown either, written either way, like that. Okay, all right, but on yours, okay, so that you're not confused and you get the answer correct. Okay, yours goes right here after park, right after the K. Number 5, no, I don't know the answer to that question. No, I don't know the answer to that question. Okay, put it in where you think it should be. And I'll give you a hint, it's rule number 7 if you go back up to the top. Yep. I heard what you say. You blurted. No blurting. It's after no. Okay? And so it's no, I don't know the answer to that question. You're going to pause there. That sounds better. No, I don't know the answer to that question, instead of no, I don't know the answer to that question. It just sounds rushed. Okay? Number 6, Roscoe is the name of the dog. Roscoe, you need a bath. Roscoe, you need a bath. Okay? That's like a direct request too. You're going to say, Roscoe, you're going to pause. You need a bath. Okay? So it goes after Roscoe. Number 7, after the toddler's long nap, he was happy. Where would you put that one? I'll give you a hint. It's rule number 8. Okay? So where is the end of that long introductory phrase? After the long toddler's nap, he was happy. Where did you put it? If you put it here, after toddlers, that's wrong. It's after the toddler's long nap, he was happy. Okay? Now I'm going to hit some lights. Joke time. Okay? Here we go. Let's see what we got for corny jokes today. Corny humor. Why did the city slickers... A city slicker is like somebody who lives in the city. They don't live out in the country. They don't know all the stuff about like being outdoors in the woods and stuff like that. That's what they sometimes get called. Okay. Why did the city slicker hunters quit hunting elephants? And when you go hunting, sometimes you need to take decoys with you. The decoys lure in, like duck decoys. You set them all up in the water, and then that lures other ducks in. Okay. These guys, they were city slickers, they got sick of carrying the decoys. Can you think about that? Carrying elephant decoys? They'd be huge. Okay? All right. Next one. What did the bedspread say to the sheet? I've got you covered. I've got you covered. The bedspreads go over the sheets. You guys know that? All right, here's another one. You should have some background knowledge into this one from earlier in the week in math. A rooster lays an egg on the roof. The peak of a roof. A peak is like the top. Okay. Which side does the egg roll down? Yeah, neither side, because roosters don't lay the eggs, hens do. Okay, last one for today. What stays in bed most of the day and sometimes goes to the bank? What stays in bed most of the day and sometimes goes to the bank? A stream. A stream, it's called a riverbed, a stream bed, stays in the bank most of the day and sometimes goes to the bank. The bank is the edge, so maybe then the waves get blown in or something like that. Okay, so a stream stays in bed most of the day and sometimes goes to the bank. Have fun with your English today, kids.